Hello, my name is Krasi. I'm sidereal astrologer, and this is my monthly forecast, which is following the lunar month, the path of the moon. This is because I'm sidereal astrologer, and this means that I'm looking at the sky from the astronomical point of view, from the real positions of the stars, the fixed stars, the constellations, and I'm also following the path of the moon, because everything, every star, fixed star, constellation, planet which the moon is meeting on her path is producing event on Earth. So first the events are happening above, and then they take place for us in our reality. So this lunar month is starting from the 15th of July to complete a lunar month until around the 15th of August. It is happening after the partial solar eclipse, which takes place on the 13th of July. So the moon will be visible for the first time. The first lunar crescent will be visible from the first time in the evening of the 15th of July, and the moon will start her path as a new moon in Leo, conjoined with Venus. This is a beautiful combination, beautiful for new starts, new beginnings. It is safe to drive, but with the exception, let's not forget to be careful, because just 2 days before was the 13th of July, and then we had the partial solar eclipse. So the 15th and the 16th of July, the moon will be with Venus. This is waxing moon, not appropriate for surgical interventions, appropriate for planting leafy vegetables, not for planting vegetables with roots, not for cleaning the weeds in your garden, because then the leaves are still very powerful, so it's not appropriate. So the moon will be very good for astrologers, people which are engaged in esoteric activities, because of the fixed stars in Leo, especially on the 16th. The moon will be conjunct with the nebula, quite powerful star, which will give good results for astrologers, people which deal with any esoteric science. On the 16th of July and on the 17th of July, the moon will be in Virgo. This is nice for, again, could be good for new activities, with caution, because the moon is squaring Saturn, so you might have some obstacles on the way of your activities, but still good for any teaching activities, oratory activities, media, communication. Powerful lunar days in terms of what you will do, because the fourth lunar day was considered since antiquity a very powerful lunar day. Also, Mercury will still be in a powerful heliacal phase. So if you want to publish your article, if you want to do some speech, if you want to do some teaching, if you want to concentrate in studying and learning new stuff, very good, quite appropriate. Not good for surgical interventions. 19th of July and 20th of July, the moon is entering Libra and is conjoining Jupiter. This is very nice. It's a time where Jupiter has already turned direct. Beautiful conjunction. Quite positive in terms of new beginnings. You may plant leafy vegetables. You may not do surgical interventions. Be careful for traveling, because Mars is squaring Jupiter and the moon. But still, for artistic activities, activities with beauty, this is quite good aspect on the path of the moon. On the 21st and on the 22nd of July, the moon is entering Scorpio, and this is her place of fall. There she's detriment, there she's not very fine. Very good for spiritual activities. Contemplation, meditation, activities with herbs, healing activities. For new initiatives, it might not produce good results. There, the moon is not very happy indeed. It is safe to travel. Excuse me, again with caution. Don't remember we had partial solar eclipse. During this time, they don't undertake surgical interventions. On the 23rd, the moon will be still in Scorpio, where she's still in a fall, so 23rd, 22, 21, the moon is in Scorpio. Then on the 24th, she will be entering Sagittarius, sidereal Sagittarius, where she's conjoining Saturn. This is a time not to take risks. Do your routine things at work, your routine business. Don't do new initiatives. Any surgical interventions or any medical interventions to do with care, just carefully. You may plant still leafy vegetables in your garden. Stay away from conflicts, and this is valid for 24, 25. And also here we are starting to experience the energies of the coming total lunar eclipse. I made a separate video on the total eclipse, so I will not give attention here on the total lunar eclipse. You may like to watch a separate video to see what this eclipse may mean to you, especially for people which have Capricorn on a key position. So here, be aware to be careful not to take any new initiatives because the moon is already heading towards the eclipse, and this is on the 25, 24, and also 26th of July. On the 26th of July, the moon is already conjoined with Capricorn. This is already the eclipse path. So I would say 26, 27, eclipse time, 28. Absolutely, I would say good that this is Saturday. Let's stay from active life. It's time when in antiquity people would really contemplate, pray. This is the time of the eclipse, and don't watch it. I advise to look at my video indeed. On the eclipse, on the 29th of July, the moon is entering Aquarius. Here we had the eclipse, even though the moon will be waning. I would say the 3 days after the eclipse, be particularly careful. 3 days after the eclipse, so 29, 30, 1st of August, we need to be particularly careful not to undertake risky activities, no new initiatives, surgical interventions. Just do our routine work with care, pray for ourselves, for our families, address the planets, connect with the planets. This is helping enormously to have easier destinies. So on the 29th, the moon is in Aquarius. Very spiritual degrees. So we may pray, we may work on enhancing our intuition. Still, even though the moon is waning after the eclipse, I don't advise surgical interventions. This is the time where we can already stop planting leafy vegetables, but do the ones with roots, like potatoes, any of this type. On the 30th, the moon will still be in Aquarius and will be conjoined with the fixed star Fomalhaut. It's the most spiritual star of the zodiac. Very nice moment to use for enhancing our intuition, doing spiritual practices. Be careful to travel because Saturn is squaring and the eclipse just took place. 31st, 32nd, the moon will be in Pisces. Again, squared by Saturn. Be cautious not to be involved in conflicts, not to do any risky initiatives. So until the moon is in Pisces, once again, spiritual, very esoteric, very empathic place for knowledge of high spirituality. So this is how we can benefit from the moon being in Pisces. And on the 1st of August and also on the 2nd of August, the moon will be in Pisces. On the 3rd, but once again, be careful with traveling. Not only because of the eclipse, but because the moon is receiving square from Saturn and after that square from Mars. The moon is entering on the 3rd of August and on the 4th of August, the moon will be in Aries. Careful until the moon is in Aries these 2 days, 3rd and the 4th, because this would mean the moon is, this particular sign is still experiencing the effects of the eclipse. So be careful with traveling, be careful with medical procedures, be careful with any risks. Aries is a fiery sign. You might feel tempted to do some new things. Well, do the routine business with care and without taking risks. Then on the 5th and the 6th, on the 5th, the moon is passing the Pleiades of Taurus. This is a nebula. It's a constellation, a small constellation, which is very esoteric, very occult. If we like to concentrate in esoteric duties, fine, until the moon is there. On the 6th, the moon is passing Aldebaran, a star of money. We might benefit good day in our business in terms of finances. Then on the 7th, the moon is already entering Gemini, where she is afflicted by Saturn. Again, avoid surgical interventions unless really not necessary. Avoid risky communication, because Gemini is the sign of communication, is the sign of Mercury, but still avoid, because still the moon is afflicted there. You might do your routine business, you might do routine communication activities, publishing articles, writing, studying, teaching others, but carefully, because you might need to involve additional efforts in these activities. On the 8th of August, the moon is still there, conjoined with Castor, one of the Geminis of the twins. This is quite good, the spiritual one. Then on the 9th, the moon is entering Cancer, and this is the last lunar crescent. Then the moon will become invisible. We will see the moon for the last time before the 3 days of invisibility of the moon. This last lunar crescent is not appropriate. Again, not for traveling. Mars is afflicting the moon. Not for driving, not for risks. Do what Cancer does. Spirituality, high studies, home, spend time at home with your family, contemplate, meditate, and absolutely not advisable for surgical interventions, risky activities. And this is on the 9th. On the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, the moon is invisible. The lunar god is descending into the underworld. So, at this time, as I probably say every month during this period of time, the lunar god is descending. So, the ancients would stay in the temple or would stay at home to pray, to contemplate. This is what is supposed to be done. Luckily, 11th is Saturday. And then the new moon, actually, the first lunar crescent, is appearing on the 12th with Venus above, quite promising new month. So my next lunar forecast will be done before this date. So Yes, with this I'm completing my forecast for the lunar month, which started on the 14th of July and was completed on the 11th of August. I'm Krasi. You might like to follow my channel and also look at the video which I just recorded on the eclipse, which will take place on the 27th and 28th, so that you know what to do and really what the effects of the eclipse will be. Thank you.